Alright, we're here from Rock Show Critique with frontman Odorous from the intergalactic band Gwar. How you doing?
Good. Pissed off.
Pissed off, why?
Cause they're fucking doing a thing at the Riot Fest this year in Chicago where they actually make a sculpture out of butter of one of the big acts on tour, and I'm up against John Stamos and Andrew WK, and apparently John Stamos is kicking my fucking ass.
How can John Stamos from Full House be beating the crap out of you right now?
I don't know. I mean, obviously he couldn't do it physically. He's got to do it through the guise of the internet and his followers. I'm sure he's just voting for himself over and over again. Now, I'm not really getting my ass kicked. I'm about 200 votes behind. You know, I got 30,000 fucking Twitter followers. He's got like 18 million. I mean, just do the math. It's not looking good. The fact that I'm up there at all is pretty good. But if I lose, I've got to go through the rest of my life knowing that I lost to John Stamos at something, and I just don't know if I can deal with that shame.
That's good, that's good. Well, I hope the Gwar support team gets behind you and wipes the floor with this.
Yeah, and then we can actually wipe the floor with the butter sculpture. We could actually, we can use an odorous butter sculpture to butter the toast of starving children. That is, if starving children had toast, which they probably don't, or they wouldn't be starving.
Probably not. Let's see. All right, tell me about Gwar. What do they do? Where do they come from?
What question there. Gwar, a group of renegade intergalactic warriors that were banished to Earth many years ago for inconceivable cosmic atrocities. We stayed here, kind of in this. They put us here because it's the furthest, most abandoned mudball planet in the corner of the entire galaxy, and they figured that we couldn't get in any trouble here, but when we got here, we had sex with animals immediately, because my bounding lust knows no limits. And so, yes, we fucked apes and anything else, really, but through our union with the ape, we created the human race. And when we did this, we basically created the cockroach of the galaxy. And for this cosmic affront, we were frozen in Antarctica for many, many millions of years until the advent of hair metal. You know, that a lot of people look back on that part of heavy metal and they say like, oh yeah, those bands are great, Molly Queen, Poison. No, those bands sucked. Those bands all fucking blew and they look like women, okay? Let women look like women. Men should look like men.
Not like Skid Row.
Not like Skid Row. Skid Row, actually, Sebastian Bach was in a couple of Gwar movies. He was fully aware of the self-parodying nature of what he did. He was actually a pretty funny guy. But the one good thing did for us is that they caused a hole in the ozone layer from using too much. And that de-thawed Gwar. We were unleashed upon the modern society that we have around us and became a heavy metal band, and the rest is history. We travel town to town with our little, I guess you could call it a circus of sorts. It's kind of like a circus where the elephant gets out every night and kills everyone.
That's quite the circus. It's for all ages. Let's see. Gwar is currently on tour. Who would Gwar like to play with? They could play with anyone.
Oh, I've always wanted to do a big tour of all my favorite bands all playing at once at the same time. Yes, Motorhead, Slayer, Gwar, the Butthole Surfers, Black Flag, all in a great rockestra with like 15 guitar players at once. So, that will never happen, obviously. Then, failing that, I thought maybe it'd be cool to get Rob Zombie and Slipknot and Mushroom Head and all the bands that do the kind of, clown rock. How should I say it? The ones that wear costumes. They were obviously all inspired by Gwar. But obviously that's not going to happen either because, quite frankly, they hate us. So I guess now what we're going to get, despite all the things I'm asking for, are 4 local openers.
Okay, that's good.
I have no idea who these people are. I did not pick them. I'm sure every single person in every single one of these bands will make a point of coming up to me and telling me either how honored they are or how repulsed they are. And all of them will say, boy, it stinks back here.
Who is the most tolerable human?
Lemmy.
Lemmy's the most tolerable human.
Yes, I met him briefly. We just played a show in L.A. We just totally tore the roof off the place. I was backstage sluicing the blood off of me. He came up to me and he looked at me and he said, "Oh, I hope I'll never have to work that hard." I couldn't help but agree with him. Yes, Lemmy is all things good about humanity, and I wish him best of luck in his his current. He's having some little health problems right now, and really, a world without Lemmy is not worth living in, really. So
Tragic.
we're gonna go give him some Gwar healing. We've got all kinds of elixirs and evil potions. The good thing about it will save his life, and even better thing about it is it will make his warts get even bigger.
Gwar has a festival of its own called the Gwarbecue. What's the Gwarbecue? What's that about?
Well, it's we saw a lot of festivals that we played at. We played at Bonnaroo. We played at the ICP gathering of the Juggalos, and we were like, if hippies and clowns can do this, then we can too. And it was actually a tradition that went back many years. The Gwar slaves, the humans that we captured to work for us, they would throw parties at the slave pit, which is the production studio, and try to use that as a desperate excuse to get laid. But we took the idea, and especially under the guidance of Jizmac, who loves money. He doesn't spend it; he uses it to paper his lair, kind of as to soak up the piss, basically. So yeah, we started doing the festival in Richmond, which is where the slave pit is located. Started doing it every year, and it's been getting bigger and bigger every year. And this year's the biggest yet. We've got Municipal Waste and Pig Destroyers, COC, Battlecross, a bunch of really kick-ass fucking bands, and all kinds of other extra attractions, bike launch ramps and skate parks, and of course we'll be debuting our Gwar beer and our Gwarbecue sauce. I mean, there is no limit to the amount of ways that we will prostitute ourselves.
What is the best kind of sauce for the best kind of meat for Gwarbecue sauce, if you could pick one?
Baby meat, definitely baby meat, and uncooked. I'm not a fan of sauce so much. I just like to pop babies into my mouth like most people would do Tic Tacs. But if you are a human that craves sauce on some kind of thing, yes, Gwarbecue sauce. It's I believe it tastes actually pretty good, and it certainly looks disgusting.
I understand that aside from the tour, Gwar is a show, as you mentioned before, the Riot Festival coming up. It's your second year back there in a row.
Yes, that's pretty interesting.
But how do you guys feel about being asked to come back a second year in a row?
I would say flattered, except that I realize it's humans setting it up, so I'm just more mystified, confused after all the after all the damage and horrible things that we did last year. But Chicago is a huge Gwar town. It's we used to play there every Halloween, and so we're really stoked about it. It's a huge crowd, and it's going to be an amazing show. We're going to be debuting our brand new show that comes out with the new album in September, so it should be good.
Moving on to that, tell me about the album. What's it about?
It's September 17th, Battle Maximus. Like most Gwar albums, it's tells kind of another chapter in the story of Gwar. I mean, we're every bit as much a bunch of comic book superheroes as we are a thrash metal band, and I would call us a thrash metal band. We're not particularly metal, but we're not particularly punk rock either. We're simply Gwar. And the new record kind of tells the next chapter in the story, but at the same time pays homage to our fallen brother, Flatus Maximus, who left this planet, lucky dog, a couple years ago to fulfill his glorious destiny in the stars, leaving a gaping hole in our ranks. Now, what we did was we summoned all the members of the Maximus clan to Earth, where they fought, they all happen to play guitar, where they fought a sonic slaughter with each other for the right to continue on in Flatus's clawed footsteps, and the winner was Pustulus Maximus. You can hear the sonic slaughter on the record on the track Battle Maximus, which is the only instrumental track. But the rest of the album kind of deals a lot with the Flatus thing, some frank ruminations on death and life, and what it's like to deal with these subjects in a rock and roll band. But at the same time, we are telling the story of Gwar's new arch nemesis, super shithead, Mr. Perfect, this creature from the future that is traveling to the past now in order to chop off my balls and get all the gizmoglobin out of them, which is the elixir of eternal youth that keeps us going forever. That's the one thing Mr. Perfect doesn't have as he tries to make his master race is my balls. So basically it's going to be him versus Gwar with my balls as the prize. And I am not letting anybody chop off my balls. I will let them lick, tickle, rub a turtle on them, all kinds of things. But no, not cut off.
If you could say anything to Rick Moranis, what would it be?